Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, CowboyJoe 64.
I am the father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, what to do, people? You looking live at Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, and I'm joined with my co-host as usual, my dad, Cowboy Joe. You want to say what's up to the people?
What's up, Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live. We back with another one, and we are 5 days away from the draft, people.
Man,
So it's
0-30.
0-30. Black Hawk down. It's coming. It's time. It's time to get this show on the road. So, what we're gonna be doing here is to get closer to the draft. Is we're gonna be just analyzing these players because the likelihood of us picking them is going up. So we like for instance, we know we're probably going to end up with a receiver. We know we're going to end up with a running back for sure. So we're going to look at some running backs today and just kind of go over it and just kind of look and see what they're going to bring to the table, because we probably going to end up drafting one. Probably going to end up drafting one high. Probably going to end up drafting one late too. That's what it's looking like. So the first one I want to look at, I mean, we can, we try to be as realistic as possible, so we don't need to look at Ashton because he's not going to be there when we pick, and plus everybody already knows what he looks like anyway, so we don't need to look at him. But now I have the suspicion that if if we get wiped out, and Omarion Hampton will be there at 12, and even if they trade back, if they get wiped out and trade back and they pick up an extra pick, I feel like Omarion Hampton might be the pick in the first round. I feel like he could possibly be the pick in the first round at 12, depending on the board. If Ted and the Golden are gone, then it'll be between someone like Tyler Warren and Omarion Hampton.
If we trade down, if we trade down, if we get a call,
if we
trade down to 20.
Yeah. No, I was saying at 12.
Oh, at 12?
If Golden and Ted, they both gone, Omarion might be in play. So let's look at Omarion Hampton and check him out. Before we even go into it, my initial read on Omarion Hampton is that he's a big back. I don't think he has home run speed, or I don't think he's a home run hitter, or whatever you want to call it, because that's just what his highlights show. I don't, but he likes to lower his shoulder a lot, and I just think in the NFL, you kind of want to stay away from that in the NFL, because man,
he runs kind of high. He's a big back, so he's a finisher. You can see, at some level, he is a little bit of a home run hitter. He's just a big physical back. I know at the combine, when he came to the podium, people were just kind of, shocked at, just how
big he was, how stout he was.
No, big and stout, no diddy. Yeah, and that kind of caught people off. Well, it's sort of like, when Genty did his workout, people knew Genty, but when they saw him at his workout, people were just like, wow,
oh my God, yeah. Like, not even me, like, no Diddy, but when he was walking around with his shirt off, I was like, oh yeah, this dude is on another level.
And then the thing about Genty is, I know that Boss Cowboy, shout out to Boss Cowboy Sports, it's a Yoda type workout guy for the pros.
Yeah.
And he's working with this guy, and this guy is doing things that other, people are not doing, as far as, keeping their players in shape. And so that's going to be key for our backs. And one of the things we got to talk about too, as we talk about these backs, is what the Cowboys can't do is do what they did to Zeke and bring our running backs in and just run them into the ground in the first 3-4 years of their career. That's why, Derrick Henry and, some of these other backs that are looking good.
Derrick Henry, Saquon,
they were not just overloaded with carries early in their career. So That's why I think one of the things we're gonna talk about tonight, we need to double dip with this running back situation because we don't want to run our running backs into the ground. And
Yeah, and Ashton Genty, people know where he's from. He's from Jacksonville, Florida, but he moved to Frisco and went to
yeah,
high
he
school
went to high school here. Yeah,
in Frisco here. So I mean, what that tells me about Ashton is that he has probably a middle class upbringing. I would say, probably higher class. So, you know, this day and age, like I'm fourth generation. So one thing that's different about our athletes nowadays is that they've been playing these games since they were like, they've probably been having like, close to professional training since they were 5 and 6 years old.
mm-hmm.
They're a lot faster, they're a lot stronger, they're a lot bigger. It's because they're much more in tune with the game at a young age, and this is what they were growing up to do. Like they got little league football and basketball, and where these kids is just like they doing stuff that you wouldn't even imagine that they would be doing. So it's just like he looks the part. Ashton Genty looks like he's gonna be a superstar in this league, and I think he is going to be. I think he's gonna do better than what's my guy from Texas. I think he's gonna do better than him. That went to the Falcons. Bijan, I think he's gonna be better than Bijan. I think he's gonna be better than Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's gonna be better than that class of running backs.
Think he's gonna be better than Zeke?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And so let's do this. I kind of want to go in reverse order, and I forgot to tell you this. So what we want to talk about, let's talk about some of these guys that we probably gonna end up having a draft in the 5th round.
Yeah.
And so some of these guys I haven't seen. So let's start with Taj Brooks from Texas Tech. And he spells it Tahj Brooks. And you might not be able to find him on Tankathon. Let me go see if he's on there.
Well, let's look at the Tankathons first since I'm on here already.
Okay, well, yeah, let's just go to Tankathon because you got the film right there.
Yeah, so
is he on there?
He's not.
So let's look at some guys that we think gonna be in the 5th round, like
RJ Harvey.
Let's look at RJ Harvey because I've heard a lot about him. I haven't actually watched RJ Harvey, so I want to see what he looks like. I was
watching him last night. I like
a lot of people like him.
Yeah, I like what I was seeing last night. This first play, I was like, okay. That first play, he took it to the house. Now he run kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you can tell he's a dog. You can tell he just like he finds the end zone. But
from UCF, they put out a lot of good players.
They do. You know what I'm saying? It's another team like that put out good players. They the green and yellow team.
Now Tankathon, what round did they have RJ Harvey?
He's number 99, so I think
it's 3rd round, 4th round.
Yeah, something like that. 3rd round, 4th round.
Okay, who you want to look at next?
I want to look at Tootin.
Okay, let's look at Tootin. You like him too?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think Tootin. If to me, Tootin is the last running back that you can take in the back of the rounds. That could be
him right here.
No, this is RJ Harvey.
It's still RJ Harvey. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Tootin is. I think Tootin is one of those backs that he's like the last back that you could take. That's going to be like a starter.
They got him at 122, so that's 4th round.
Yeah, but he can start because he has those kind of skill sets that you just say like, wow, he just short, but he's just short, but every play is like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's real assertive. He, one cut runner. He gets downhill pretty quick.
Yeah,
we need this type of running back.
He'll be the one. He can be the one. It's gonna be hard to, he everything that they thought Deuce was. He's faster than Deuce. He a little bit taller than Deuce, but he's still just like he's an athlete for sure. He's a better.
What I hope that we do by double dipping at running back, we need to just come at teams in waves. So you got your triple threat running back. We're playing a team like the Eagles, the Commanders, whoever we're playing, the Packers. They got to know that for 4 quarters we got a running back a tandem of backs that's gonna be coming at you for 60 minutes.
They need to know that they
It
need to
ain't
know
gonna be
that.
no let up.
Yeah, they need to know that that you're gonna have to either see Caleb Johnson or Marion Hampton, Travion Henderson, and Tootin and RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see a pair of them. And any one of them can do some damage to you.
Uh, I want to look at next. Let's look
Mhm.
at Martinez, Damian Martinez from the U.
Now, I haven't heard a lot about him. I'll be skipping him every time. I guess I'm just not being fair.
A
But
lot of people like him. They like him in the third round.
yeah.
He's from here too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I changed my mind then, Damien. Where is he from?
Yeah, you have to look it up. But yeah, he's a Metroplex kid.
Oh, okay. He run high.
Yeah, he kind of,
These guys be killing me when they be running like old boy from the Chiefs. I hate that.
who?
The guy that run, he runs so hard. He stomped the ground every time he run.
Oh, Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco. He ain't as good as these backs they were looking at. He's not as good as these guys.
But they be
Pacheco.
running. They be running the same.
Yeah, but
Like
Pacheco.
running so hard.
Pacheco was getting hugged out when they played the Eagles and when they played the 49ers the year before, they was running Pacheco. He
He
at
don't know
some
how to
point,
take a hit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, at some point you kind of just run out of your usefulness. The Chiefs got to upgrade their running backs too. They need 2 running backs just like we do.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, a lot of people like him. But again, just what I'm saying is when you come into a game, you gotta. This is what we need coming at our defenders for basically for 4 quarters. You're not getting no break. That's what my philosophy will be with the running backs.
You know, it used to be like that when we had Marion Jones and Felix Jones.
Yeah.
Or Julius
Jones and Marion Barber.
Julius Jones and Marion Barber. I messed that all the way up. You know, I used to see Marion. So it was Julius Jones. So back when Julius Jones, I'm gonna tell a quick Cowboy story. This is a 4th generation story. So back when the Cowboys had Julius Jones and Dez Bryant and them, they the ones that's closest to our age. You know, to my age anyway. So when we used to go out in public, we used to see them in public. Like we used to see Julius Jones in the club in public. Like on a normal basis. It was nothing to see him. A lot of people didn't even know who he was, but of course I did.
I'm finna say he's a real modest guy. He probably didn't nobody knew who he was.
Exactly. But I would tell all my friends, them the Cowboys right there. That guy right there on the practice squad, that's Julius Jones. That's so and so. And even like with Dez, now you know David Wells was like Dez's manager or whatever. So like Dez, you know, I frequent with Dez a few times. Like, you know, like I would go over to Mr. Wells' house and Dez would be there and Dez would be kicking it, you know, with everybody. And a lot of times we would go out with Dez. I think I went out with Dez like 3 times. We would go out to the old clubs, but they was like clubs like called Nairobi and stuff like that. Let's look at DJ Giddens.
Let's go back. Oh yeah, go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm talking about this, but we used to see Dez out in public a lot.
And I was going to tell you something that I thought about when you talking about Julius Jones. So that 2007 Cowboy team that everybody was just like raving about, and people say the 2017 was our team, the best team that we had that had a chance to make the Super Bowl. No, they lost to the Giants.
Oh yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
They was the number 1 seed and lost to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I was gonna say, what Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett did in that game, they kind of messed up the juju. Julius Jones started every game, and in that playoff game, they started Marion Barber.
Sure did, because he had that. He was just getting a lot of hype, and they were just thinking that he was gonna be bruising them.
And he was in the first half, but in the second half, he was gassed.
Well, you know, you gotta. That's coaching. You know, you gotta learn how to use.
And then the way they did it, Julius Jones didn't have a good game because he was just like
he wasn't even warmed up.
Well, he wasn't warmed up, but he also wasn't happy the way they did it. So that was just
and you could tell the way he was looking on the sideline.
Coaching move, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I like Giddens. Where they got him going right now,
Oh man, that was a horse collar. I
Yeah,
think he
definitely.
is going in the back,
He's
and
moving up.
yeah, he definitely moving up because he wasn't even
And
on Tankathon at the beginning.
now keep in mind, Riley, the offensive line coach, that's his coach in college, K State. And
Yeah,
Riley is a very good
that was his offensive coordinator in college.
well no, he was a line offensive line coach.
So that's BB coach.
Yeah, that's BB coach, exactly.
That's
So
Deuce coach. That's his coach.
yep. So yeah, so Giddens, where they got him going? Is he in the third round at the moment?
I'm
Or is he
trying to
in the
find.
second now?
I'm trying to
I just
find.
pulled it up.
He's 118. So
That's third. Yeah, I would keep an eye on him. Um,
they
he's
got
one
him
of
going to Washington in the fourth.
he's and man, we need our 4th round pick, man.
I'm gonna tell you something I thought about last night. I want to call this first. Mason Taylor from the LSU, the tight end. To me, he's just as good as Tyler Warren. I don't know what people not seeing. I was looking at him yesterday. I was looking at him and I was looking at Tyler Warren. I just kept watching them back to back. Mason Taylor is just as good, and the Redskins are gonna draft him because
Mm.
the Redskins are gonna draft him because he gonna be there in the second round when they draft, and that his coach. I mean his quarterback was the Commanders quarterback. So
Oh man, yeah.
it
Hey,
just
so are you sure we live on YouTube? Cause I don't see nobody joining in, which is odd.
I think so. Let me see. I can make sure. I don't
So
know. His coach. I mean his quarterback. Yeah, we are live on YouTube.
okay,
Yeah, we are.
so but what I was gonna tell you is the thing that's so frustrating, man, about this thing with these tight ends. Okay, we've been saying in draft after draft, you got these talented tight ends, and
Mm.
we forced a tight end pick, and we took the wrong guy. So
Troy Taylor nephew. Who is that? Uh,
JVB boy, yeah, he's
yeah.
one of the guys that be on the other content creators. Appreciate you joining our show. But do you hear what I said about this Schoonmaker pick?
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating that
What's good, JV?
this franchise they forced a pick with this tight end thing, and what's happening is since we made that pick, the tight ends that we're seeing in the draft are just so much better. We could have just when we saw we couldn't get the guy that we wanted, we did not have to draft Schoonmaker. We could have you know, just moved on to something else. And there's so many good tight ends in these drafts.
You
It's
know
just
what? And then I look at that. What I don't mean to cut you off with what you're saying, but then it's just like you look at the tight ends that was drafted in the same draft as Schoonmaker. All of them are better than him. All of them are.
the only one that's kind of not, and it was the same thing with him was Meyer that went to the Raiders. He was a Notre Dame tight end.
Hmm.
So what happened in that draft? The Cowboys kept talking about tight end, and Meyer was one of the ones that kept coming up, and people were saying, "Don't draft tight end because if you draft him, he's not the one."
We could have
Well,
had A Chain. JV said we could have had A Chain. We could have
yeah,
had A Chain. We could have had Bucky Brooks. We
yeah,
could have had a lot of them players. But they chose. You know what? That draft, JV, that draft right there
it
was a.
put us
Well,
it put us back.
it was basically like we did not have a draft that year
Yeah.
because Omarion Overshawn got hurt.
Hmm.
Mozzie didn't have a good year. He wasn't even playing out of
We
position.
drafted Fihoko. He never suited up for a game.
Fihoko didn't even play.
His name was Viliani Fihoko.
Yeah, Viemi. He
He
ain't
was
even
he was
play
deactivated every game.
every single game. And then we all know about Schoolmaker. He didn't play at all. He wasn't good enough. And then and I can keep going. Even in the fifth round, I think that might have been Bland. I don't think that was Bland. Was that Bland in the fifth round that year?
Look,
But he
just
couldn't be
look
here
that
before
up.
that. But anyways, everybody in that draft, including Deuce, that was Deuce draft. None of them impacted the team whatsoever. And then they started off doing the same thing the next year, like Guyton.
But yeah, the 24 draft. Let's look at that draft again. Tell me who in that draft that you saying right now on April 19th. Man, we got a player there in the 24 draft. So we got Guyton, we got Nealon, I can't even tell you who the other people were that we drafted because they just didn't. BB is the standout. And if
BB was better than BB was the third round pick, and he was
BB
better
was
than
a
Guyton,
third round pick.
and he was
Oh,
better than Guyton.
so if you go back in that draft, BB probably would go in the first round.
No doubt he would, but he looked like he was gonna go in the first round. But they
But
was just saying,
Nealon, Guyton,
man, them
is that the
guys.
one they traded up for? They traded Carson was high in that draft,
He was in the second round, and no, I
and
give Kalen Carson.
we looking at corners now.
But I'll give Kalen Carson. I give him a little pass. He got hurt now, but he played good against Cleveland. But
That was it.
yeah,
That was his only game that he showed. The other games, boy, he was
yeah.
looking. So
What's up, Greg? Uh,
I can't figure out why my green screen keep going out.
I don't know. See if you can go in there and do it again. I better yet, why don't you? It'd probably be too much for you to leave out and come back, but you ain't gotta do all that. But you can try to do it again right now, or you can try to refresh. Why don't you just refresh your screen? You can come back in. Man, that whole draft, man, was just a waste of time, and it really set us back. We got Tyler Guyton last year. Let's see who else we got. We got Marshawn Nealon. Now Marshawn Nealon, he came on toward the end of the year, but it's just like we don't need another DeMarcus Lawrence or another Sam Williams. I mean, it's just like these guys didn't do anything to jump off the screen. Now you got Cooper Beebe. Cooper Beebe was a dog in college, so we expected him to do good. We didn't expect him to be better than Tyler Guyton, and he was. John Stevens never played. He got hurt. JV said John Stevens Jr. That was our guy. We was rooting for John Stevens so much because when he played in the preseason, he was tearing them up. And then he tore his ACL the same game that Overshawn did. Now, Kalen Carson, that's what I was saying. Kalen Carson, I give him a break because corner is a hard position to play. And, we have some dynamic corners on our team. We got...
Go ahead and talk. I'm going to see if I can come out and come back and see if it do it.
All right. So we got Kalen Carson. Now we got we got dynamic corners. We got some good corners like Bland, and we had Jordan Lewis playing the best he's ever played. We got Diggs. He was doing his thing, but he got hurt. But Flournoy. Now Flournoy, to me, he didn't really get the enough chance to shine that he should have got. But it's too late now. We got to get a receiver. You had your opportunity, but he didn't get enough shine. You know what I mean? Like he didn't get enough shine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and I can see you. And your green screen working. So he didn't get enough shine to me.
Kalen Carson?
No, Flournoy. Because he had guys like Brooks. We kept trying to figure out why are they playing Brooks? What is this infatuation with this kid? Why is he playing over Flournoy?
It
what
has
is this
to be
about?
somebody on McCarthy's staff.
That was crazy to me. So Flournoy, he just looked like a receiver. He's faster. He has better body position than Brooks, but they kept playing Brooks for some reason. So, and then they brought in Mingo. So when they brought in Mingo, which is just mind-boggling that they would even waste a 4th round pick on him. It could to me,
Mingo looked just like Flournoy.
He do, and also it canceled out Flournoy. When they brought Mingo in, they were playing Mingo instead of playing Flournoy. Yeah. And you got Jalen Tolbert taking up space. But the Cowboys, to me, I don't know why they do this. It's like the Cowboys, they go based off of who they pick and who they have on their draft board. And in the next year, they go get these guys as if they don't have NFL film on them. They talking about we had a 2nd round grade on Mingo. But that means nothing because he played a whole year and he was trash. So what difference does it make what round you grade you had?
And then the question that I have, I would ask, one of the questions I would have for Will McClay, the prototype of receiver, they get the same guy, Flournoy, Gallup, Mingo, Tolbert, they all had the same skill set.
Why are you guys infatuated with these guys, these body catchers that have the same physique, that don't really do anything special, but do everything average?
And that's why I would be cool with them in this draft if they figure out a way to get Tez or Bond, because Tez and Isaiah Bond, it's something a different.
That we don't got. Yeah.
It's just something that we don't have. Now Golden would be also.
Well, gee,
And
another thing I don't like that they do. I mean to cut you out, but I don't like this whole X and then we need an X and we need a guy that can play. We don't need to do that. When you do that, that's when you get Flanoy and Mingo. When you say, "Oh, we have to have a guy that fits this caliber of player."
well,
We
I think
no,
what people are saying when they talk about the X, you got to look
no,
at it in terms of
no,
the talent. So AJ
no,
Brown is is
mhm,
a is a typical X, but he's just a
no.
good player.
Right,
You know, Dez was a good player.
yeah, but that's 1990s football. This is not
Yeah,
that. So we don't have no X's. You know, CD can play whatever he want to play. CD can line up at tight end if he need to, a
he
running back,
can.
inside, outside. AJ Brown can too. So
Well, but so what I'm saying is, I'm saying I understand the X concept. My thing is where I push back on them, and what I'm saying is, I just want a guy that can play and that's gonna make plays.
right, because what they're saying is, oh, we need an X, so we can just count out Ted because he's the. I mean, we need a slot guy, so we can
Yeah,
just count out the Ted factor because he's more of an X.
I just want a guy that's gonna make plays. I
Me
don't
too.
really care about the position.
That's why they'll
Just give
take
me
Golden.
playmakers.
That's why they want Golden over Ted because he fits a certain physique. He fits what they want. He fits a small guy that
Well,
can
I
get over
hope
the
that's
top.
not what they're doing. But Golden is a playmaker. So
But tell me this, because I was looking at all of the receivers today and yesterday. Why would they put Golden over Luther Burden? What does he do better than Luther Burden? He does nothing better than Luther Burden. But
we'll
Luther
keep.
Burden is
Well,
better.
you're saying they, but it's a lot of content creators. Like I was listening to Jay Tuck today. I really like Jay Tuck. Shout out to him. Jay Burden is his number one receiver. So it really just depends on, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But now let me say this: we keep hearing what they like. We don't really know what they like. We just hearing what people are saying. We finna find out in 4 days.
I agree, but what all I'm saying is that to me, now this is just me, this is my opinion. Luther Burden is clearly a better receiver than Golden. I don't know why people are even putting Golden in that category. When I review the film and I'm looking at it, it goes Ted, Luther, Egbuka, Golden. I don't know why Golden is even being compared to Ted.
Well, they're all the tags are touching. Golden, when you watch him play, just me, the games that I watched, he's a playmaker. He's a good guy with the ball in his hands. He's a dog, so he has all of the intangibles that you're looking for. But you like Burden, you like Burden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he don't got as good as hands as Burden. He don't have as good
Golden
feel.
doesn't.
He don't have as good
Man,
feel. He don't have the field awareness that Luther
I
got.
think this is my evaluation. I think Golden has better hands. I think Burden is better with the ball.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'll say that, but
Yeah.
what would you want? Would you want somebody that's better with the ball, or you want somebody that's better with their hands? I think I know what I would want.
I want the guy that's gonna make plays. I'll be good with either one of them. Let's
Let's
go
look
back
at
to our
them.
running backs.
Oh,
So
okay.
we looked at Damian Martinez because I know you're not gonna be on long. So I really haven't seen Jordan James. Let's take a look at your guy. So Jordan James, they
Yeah.
got him going in the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
Now I watched Oregon get smoked by Ohio State. I don't remember him doing a whole lot in that game, but I
Mm-hmm.
know he's a good back. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
yeah, I like the physicality, you know.
JV said, in fairness, it was Carolina. I hope you're right, but they also had my boy that talk real country, and he didn't do nothing either. I thought he was gonna be going crazy because he was going crazy in
He might
college.
look good.
Yeah, Xavier Leggett.
Yeah, I
So
mean, look, I said last night, who was that JVB boy that said that made a
yeah,
comment?
yeah,
I said last night, JVB boy, that if we ended up with our receivers was CD, Tet, and Mingo, I'm good. If it's CD, Golden, and Mingo, I'm good.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean it's
yeah. Me too. I
Mingo.
mean, you know what
If
I'm saying.
Mingo is our third guy, I'm fine with
I
that.
don't think he gonna beat October. But my whole thing about Mingo, in fairness, we're not talking down on Mingo. We want him to to succeed. We're just saying that he wasn't worth trading the fourth round pick for. That's what
Well,
we're
no,
saying.
well, definitely not. They could have. He was going to get cut.
Yeah, they
They
could
could.
have
They
just
could. They could.
waited.
They could have got him. Yeah.
You know
So
what
I'm
I'm
liking
saying?
what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, he's a different kind of
And
back. You know what I'm
I mean, I'm
saying?
impressed, man. I'm impressed with all of these backs that we're looking at. I'm thinking that we should double dip. Okay, so that's Jordan James.
Yeah.
Uh, Trevor Etienne. I've been hearing a lot about him. Let's look at him. I want to. I'm gonna be keep it a buck with you. I'm not a big fan of
His brother.
his brother. I just never liked his running style. He kind of runs kind of funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of he runs real low to the ground. He has a real unique running style. I've
Well,
never
he did.
liked.
I about to say, well, he run just like his brother. They look the exact same.
Yeah, he's kind of hunched over, like kind of
Mm-hmm.
runs, kind of bent, kind of.
He run just like his brother. They look the exact same.
Yeah,
You can tell that's just how they grew up. Whoever their running back coach is, they had the same one.
yeah,
He's a good back. He gonna be good in the league because his brother's in the league. He's familiar with the training and all of that. So he
yeah.
gonna be all right.
If he was out, double dip back. I'm good.
Yeah,
And he gonna be there in the fifth.
for sure. Now your question is gonna be: are you taking him? Or are you taking Brayshaw from SMU? Or are you taking?
Let's look at the SMU back.
And I don't think he's on here.
He's
So we
not.
can So we can look
Okay.
at somebody else that's on here.
Uh, let's see. We haven't looked at Caleb Johnson in a while, so let's look at him.
Hey,
He's your option in the second round.
yeah.
You like him over Judkins and Travion Henderson, which we need to look at Henderson and Judkins too. We haven't even looked at them really. So this is your guy.
Yeah.
He's the one that looks like DeMarco Murray to me. He's a big back, runs kind of high.
He does.
Man,
He
still a
gonna be
home
like
run guy.
he is. He gonna be like like what's his name? I be just losing my train of thought. He gonna be like from the Ravens.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah. He big like that.
Yeah.
And he young, so he gonna put on
Man,
some more weight.
this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. We need to have our running backs, our team set to win. We hitting you with this type of back right here, and then when he
When this
leave the
guy
field,
when he get hit, it's just like you can see how big he is. Cause when he get hit, it's just like he tumbles over because the person
yeah,
that hit him don't really make
they
an
ain't moving
impact.
him.
Right. Like that right there. He just ran that dude over and got up and walked away.
And see, this is what we need in a desperate way. The Cowboys need to become a physical team. I'm talking about we coming at you in waves. We running at you with this running back right here. Then when he come off the field, we got some of these other guys we're looking at coming on the field. Your defensive line should be in for a long day. And we haven't had that.
And we've had that with the younger guys, but they're here and there. Like the
And I
younger
don't even
guys, like
remember who was Zeke's backup the whole time. Zeke 2016.
Tony Pollard.
Well, Tony Pollard wasn't here in 2016.
So who was his backup his first year?
And we didn't even give Pollard enough carries. That could have helped Zeke.
Man.
But
But
the Cowboys better not come out of this draft and blow this draft by not taking two of these backs. That's gonna be so bad.
and I just hope they don't do this defensive thing that they always do. They take 7 defensive players in the draft.
A lot of people have been talking about the nightmare scenario for all of us, whether it's the weapons guys like Landlord and Henny, shout out to them. The people that want running back. The nightmare scenario is the Cowboys come out of this draft with an edge, offensive lineman in round 2, and a D line in round 3. So your first 3 picks,
That's
you
exactly
ain't got
what
no
they would
running
do.
backs and receivers.
That's what they would do. We've seen
And they'll be talking about, well, we had some guys in mind, but we just couldn't get to them, and they got taken before we got there. So
yeah, and they'll say that, but they'll pass up on Kalen Johnson and Travion Henderson.
yeah, that's what happened in that 24 draft. They just kept passing up on the running backs.
That's what I was saying, man. They just what they be doing is like when I'm drafting, if I see certain players that I want on my team, like Caleb Johnson, I don't care what defensive player is better than him. When I'm picking in the second round, I'm taking Caleb Johnson.
Well, that's what the good drafting teams do.
You know what I'm saying?
They just take good players. But let's look at Travion Henderson and then Judkins.
I was
Now,
going back and forth on them today, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna point out something that. So this is Travion Henderson. Now you can see something that's totally different about him than Quinshon Judkins, and we'll see. Just watching him play, you'll see something that's different. You know, Travion Henderson, he'll take it to the house on you. Quinshon Judkins will too, but Quinshon Judkins be struggling.
Henderson is the closest thing that I see to your guy from Detroit that you like.
Jameer Gibbs,
He's the closest thing to that to me.
yeah.
Not as fast, but he's in the ballpark.
Quinshon Judkins remind me of that what's his name? They used to back up Alvin Kamara.
But Henderson, have you seen his pass protection footage? It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
I have.
Just smoking people.
Like
Just-
Zeke used to do.
You know who was really good in pass protection too?
Emmett.
He was terrific.
Hmm. Yeah, he was like the first, back that people would say, like in Little League, if you were a running back and they were telling you to watch somebody, to watch how the running back block, he was the example that everybody would
Now
use.
Zeke, I'm not Zeke. I'm talking now Emmett. Emmett was hell of a out of the backfield too. When Norv Turner was a coordinator, boy, he would get Emmett on the wheel routes. He would run Emmett like down the seam.
The best,
People wasn't ready for that when Emmett came into the league. When Norv was throwing the ball to him, they weren't ready for that. Matter of fact, that NFC Championship game that we won, the one that I went to, that's what got the 49ers. They kept throwing the ball to Emmett in the flat and throwing it to him over the middle of the field.
and they just wasn't ready for that.
They couldn't stop it.
Their linebackers couldn't cover that. And then you know who was the best at that? Marshall Faulk.
Oh yeah, Emmett was always the
Cream of the
forefront,
crop.
and
Yeah.
then Marshall Falk
He took it
came
to the
in
next
and
level.
took it next level. Then LaDainian Thomason. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
look at
then
Judkins. Now
LT.
tell me what you're saying about Judkins, because a lot of people got Judkins over Henderson.
Well, what Henderson is gonna take it to the house, like you're gonna see like this with Henderson. You're gonna see him like he getting past the first guy. You know what I'm saying? You see it constantly. He getting past the first guy. He gonna like that tackle right there that he breaking. You know what I mean? It's just like he doing that on a consistent basis. Like that right there. Like he got hit.
He's downhill. He just no matter
Yeah.
what, he's getting downhill.
Yeah.
Now, these are high. We got to remember these are highlight.
That's true.
Too.
That's
But
true. And but yeah, just like as that, like this for an example, like he just broke through those guys. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
but Quinshon Judkins, he really don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But he good. Like
Remember, we saw Quinshon Judkins. You didn't know who he was. You was like, "Who is this back?" You was like,
yeah, I remember
just-
that. Number one.
"Yeah."
I was like, who is that? Because he was just turning it up. I was just like, what who is that? That was Quinshon Judkins.
I mean, I don't know what you're saying that you don't like. Or not that you're saying you don't like it, but man, these dudes are good, man.
They are. I would take either one of them. I was just saying, like, maybe it's this play right here. Like, no, it's not this play. But yeah, he's
And
balling.
Ohio State, they got some good players.
They be like that. They be an NFL team. That's what
And
they be.
I like they safety Ransom. I like both they safeties.
Man, I like Malachi Starks.
He's from Georgia, right?
Yeah, he a beast.
I mean, Judkins, man, dude.
Like,
You
watch
see-
this play right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this play right here. He gonna get hogged down. Travion Henderson would have took that all the way for sure. He got dude hogged him down. You know what I'm saying?
He still scored though.
He did. But in
Nah,
NFL,
he's not fast as Travion Henderson, but
Nah.
he's an impressive back. These dudes,
Yeah.
man.
oh, they are definitely a 1-2 punch combo.
And I'm gonna go back to what I've been telling you since we've been talking all season. And I'm gonna ask you this again. We've been looking at these drafts that we've been doing last night. Let's go ahead and we're gonna do 2 mocks with no trades. These players we've been watching, you mean to tell me if we just have a good draft, you don't think we can compete with the Eagles and the Commanders for the division title? We absolutely can. If Dak, Micah, CD, Bland, dude, if they stay healthy, we can beat these teams with a
No,
good
yeah,
draft.
yeah. My thing is, see, I'm past that because I feel like, yeah, we gonna be
And what's up, Ty? Appreciate you joining.
What's up, Ty? I feel like, yeah, I'm past that. I feel like we definitely can. I mean, like just like about last year. If we would have been healthy last year, we would have been right in the mix with everybody else.
And
But
I'm
my
not
thing
scared
is,
of the Eagles.
well, I'm not either. But my thing is this. My thing is, are we gonna beat the teams when we get to the playoffs? That's really all that matters. We can beat the Eagles and all of that, and we can beat them and Redskins
Well,
and
I
all
think
that.
what I'm saying is my answer is to that question is I believe we can with the
Well,
guys that we're talking about if they healthy. If we got these running backs that we're looking at, if you got your receivers, if your receivers are Ted, CD, and Mingo, or Ted, CD, Golden, and Mingo,
well,
you can. To me, I still think in a lot of ways, a few of those years, we still didn't have enough dogs on the team to get us over the hump.
well, we're not.
Now,
We're
in
talking about
2016, we did.
now. We're talking about 30 years now.
Yeah.
So
So,
nobody has been able to crack that riddle.
so the team that we had going up against Green Bay when we got blowed out, our team front to back wasn't as good as it could have been.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you in perspective. No front office, no head scout, no coaching staff, and no players in 30 years have been able to beat these other teams in the playoffs. That's what we're looking at. No front office, no matter who's running things,
Yeah.
Jerry or Steven. No Will McClay, no lead scouts, no players, no
Well,
Romo, no Lair.
my pushback to that is, my answer to that is,
So
one of the biggest reasons we haven't been able to do it is because for 10 years, you had Jason Garrett as your head coach. Then we had Kellen Moore in the mix. Then you had a Mike McCarthy with his antiquated offense. So I think a lot of our problem has been coaching. Our offensive line coaches have not been good. Mike Solari. So I think what's happening is, to answer your question, we're just getting in these games and our coaches are not up to it. Dan Quinn, he sold us out, let us down his last year or so. So it's so many things that are part of the problem. So what we're hoping is, what we finna find out. Like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. We're hoping that they kind of got this coaching thing going in the right direction with our offensive line coach, with Clayton Adams, with Shoddy, and if we can just get some good players and get some more dogs, we might be able to at least punch through to an NFC Championship game. Maybe not win it, but at least get there. You ready to do our mock? We getting up on 43. So who's gone? Was Ted gone? Who's available here?
This one is unique. I haven't seen it like this before. But Shador is there as usual, but Will Campbell is still here, and that me
Scroll back up over here and see who was picked. Which one of the receivers was picked?
go. Oh my goodness, Golden was gone at 10, and Ted was gone at 6.
Now, what I like about this is what might happen Thursday night. So let's look at who the top players are. This is realistic.
The top player is Will Campbell.
Okay, and go down. You got who's next?
Shador,
Who's after that?
Kelvin Banks, Mike Green, Coastal 11, Derek Harmon, Malachi Starks, Nick Imanwari.
Who's the top, that offensive lineman at the top? Will Campbell.
Yeah, and
he's a tackle.
But he would play guard on our team. But I would take him.
That's probably what they would do. Now, before you do that, where is so?
Have you seen Will Campbell play?
I really haven't looked at Will Campbell. Let's check him out right quick. He's LSU.
Yeah. When I seen him,
you liked him from day one.
Yeah, I thought he was the biggest tackle I had ever seen.
But he plays right tackle.
Mm-hmm. But he will play guard here.
Is he too tall to play guard?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, he's 6'6".
But I think the Cowboys would take him and just play him at right guard, and he
Yeah,
will eventually be your right tackle.
yeah. Look at him. And
That's
you
him at the
see,
top up there.
yeah, this dude is huge. Look at him. Like, come on, man. That dude is humongous. You see him?
I see him. That's who they. That's who they would take right here, probably.
Look at that. Look at him. He's huge. He just be like strong arming 2, 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Like when he be moving, he be like, "Oh my god, this guy's coming at me." Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I would. You probably were gonna. You probably gonna take him.
Yeah, you know.
So let's in this example. Let's go ahead and do that. And
Yeah,
let me tell you this though. Shout out to Lou. Lou don't really like him.
yeah, I know that. I know when Lou said that, it shocked me.
Yeah,
Let me get back to the draft. All right, so
but
back
I
on the
think the
draft.
Cowboys would take him.
Me too. So I'll draft him right here. I mean, and that would be a smart draft. Your line would be set for the next 5 years.
Now, this scenario is not a good receiver, a good scenario for landlord Hendy, me, because you're kind of right now. Probably what's happening is you're gonna have to take one of those running backs, and then your receiver is getting pushed down to the third round, and you're getting
Cause I don't want Trey Harris, and that's the top receiver. I don't want Trey Harris because he's just like Mingo and Gallup in them.
So who's the top running back here?
Travion Henderson,
Go to the top best available player.
Jackson Dart, Tyleek Williams. See, this is a bad scenario because
Yeah,
they might be inclined to take Tyleek Williams.
I believe they would. That's probably what they would do. I would take Travion Henderson, but
So, what you want me to take, Tyleek or take Travion Henderson?
yeah, let's take Henderson. But I think they would take Tyleek. But
Yep.
we'll
So,
just we
and
trying to be hopeful here. Then when we get right here, I want to see who the receivers are.
Alec, Manor, Alfred Collins is up there. That's who they would
Click on the
take.
receivers.
Uh, Tez, Torrey Horton, Restrepo, Savion.
Yeah. So they would take Alfred Collins.
They
So
would.
so this is what you're looking at Thursday night for in a realistic scenario. This is exactly what could happen.
Yeah, and now in the 5th round, they'll get a running back.
You need two.
Yeah,
I'm going running back in the fifth. So who you got?
Dylan Sampson, and that's who they would take.
I'm taking him, and then
I
who's
only
the
did,
next
I
one?
only did. Let me see, Devin Neal, and that's who we gonna take. Oh, he gone. Brashard Smith.
Is Jaden Blue still on the board?
Yeah, Jalen Blue gonna be down at the bottom.
So who your top running backs?
I guess I don't know if Jaden Blue gone or not. Let me see. Brashard Smith, Corey Kenner, Jordan James, Jarquez Hunter. Yeah, Trevor.
So
I
who's the
guess
highest rated back?
Jaden Blue gone.
Oh, he's gone. So who you got right here?
Rashard Smith, Corey Kenner, and Jordan James, and Jarquez Hunter, and Taj Brooks. We didn't even get
So
to
on
look
our
at
next
Taj.
show, on our next one, we need to watch
Taj.
Bashard. Well, no, yeah, we need to watch Taj. And who's that top running back there?
Rashard Smith, the one from the SMU that I was talking about earlier.
Okay, well, yeah, let's take the SMU back. So that's a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I would have
So
took Jordan James, but yeah. So we
so
got
this is what you could be looking at Thursday night for real.
yeah, except Travion Henderson, they would have took the other DT,
Tyleek.
Tyleek, and then they would have been taking a running back with their 3rd round pick.
But this is like realistically what could happen. And let me say this draft right here, this is a good draft.
Oh yeah, no,
If,
your
if we
offensive line is
if we
stout.
had done this in 23 and 24, we would be in much better shape.
Now with this right here, you probably gonna end up trading for a running before a wide receiver, or you gonna be signing Keenan Allen.
Man, I just think the front office, man, they ain't there yet. They just don't have that kind of smarts. They still doing this thing that they do. So they would absolutely need to sign Keenan Allen, but I don't think they're there yet. They still haven't learned. But this will be a good draft because you got your starting right guard, you got your starting running back. Alfred Collins is probably going to start over Mozzie at some point. And
Hmm.
then you got two running backs that'll go with your guys that you brought in. So this will be, I mean, this will be solid.
Oh yeah, this will be a good draft. I mean, like I said, fellas, we've saying this every show. It's really, really, really hard for them to mess this draft up if they have any inkling of football sense. It's
But
really
they would
hard to
have,
mess this up.
but they would have to go look at Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper in this scenario.
And which
So let
if they were smart, they would have already done that.
so let's go do a 5 round. Well, this time let's go to 6.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Let's
last night because I'm hoping that somebody will be there in that 6th round. That you know,
yeah, like Jaden Blue or somebody. Let's see. Shador keep falling, man, and I'm just being honest, man. That would be my pick at one. You
but
know,
they're not picking Shador. So
mm-mm.
who's your receiver that's here?
Golden,
So Golden is there.
yeah, and
So who
Kelvin
took
Banks.
Chet?
He probably went to. He went to
Panthers.
Carolina,
That's
and
what I
I think
think he's
that's
gonna go
thing.
to.
Yeah, me too.
So let's go ahead and take Golden. I think
And
that
this,
would be their pick.
yeah, it would be. That's what they gonna do in real life. That's probably what's gonna happen in real life. And or somebody gonna come up and try to get your door.
Yeah.
The Steelers are, or
So let's just look at the running back. So well, first before you do that, who's the top players? Xavier
Xavier
Watts.
Watts,
I
Benjamin
like
Morrison,
him.
Josh Connolly Jr., the tackle from Oregon, and you got Trey Harris, you got Carson Schweshinger,
Yeah,
then you got
we gonna go Travion Henderson here, and this is what I think they would do. And then on this third pick, they're probably gonna be looking at to see if Alfred Collins is there
and he is.
or Sanders or Collins is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the pick.
And then in your fifth round, you probably got a double dip at receiver, unless
I'm
somebody
I'm gonna try
falls.
I'm gonna try to get another running back. But let's just see who's there.
I mean, not double dip at receiver, double dip at running back. Dylan Sampson is here. Quinn Ewers is here. Devin Neal, Riley Leonard.
Now, who did
Uh,
you like? We were gonna watch Dylan Sampson tonight, and we'll get back to him on our next show. Um,
we did watch him. We watched him first.
we did.
Yeah.
So who you taking out of him and Devin Neal? We watched Devin Neal last night.
I'll take Dylan Sampson over him.
Okay, so we got a
Got two running backs. We got two running backs, and then we got our receiver, and we got our
yeah.
defensive tackle. So
So who's the highest
uh,
rated player right here?
it's a center from USC. And you got Cal McCord, Syracuse. And you got
Is Isaiah Bond gone?
nah, he right here.
Oof, I'm taking
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah, I would take him.
Boy,
I don't
this
know
is
if
gonna
they
be
gonna do
late,
that.
man.
And they got
Um,
Nick Nash up here.
I
You
would
know,
take Bond.
yeah, me too. I would take Bond, and if they, I don't see Bond lasting to the fifth round.
I don't either, but and
But
then so now
yeah,
we're
I'll
in the
take.
sixth.
Yeah, and we should have waited because Jaden Blue is here. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, let's see. Shoot, I'd take Jay. I'd in the sixth round. I'd take Jaden Blue.
Yeah, we
Uh,
got 3 backs.
hmm
Yeah.
I'd take Jaden Blue.
Who's the highest rated player?
Uh, Jordan James.
So that lets us know that these backs are going to be here.
Yeah, so we probably gonna have one of them.
So in those earlier draft picks that we had, we probably could have went in another direction, and our backs would have been there.
Yeah,
So who you got? So give me.
Tonka Hemingway, the
Mhm.
defensive tackle.
I've heard of him.
Uh, well, in my opinion, I would be taking Jaden Blue, even though I already got a running back. You want to come in people in waves.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that they would take those three running backs like
I
that,
would
but
take
if they did,
they'll
boy,
take the defensive tackle, Tonka.
yeah, if they did, boy, that'd be crazy. Now,
I thought we were still picking.
well, we can pick Jaden Blue now.
Yeah, man, you can't you ain't no way you can avoid not picking him.
All right, so on this one we got Matthew Golden, Travion Henderson, Alfred Collins, Dylan Sampson, Isaiah Bond, Tonka, and Jaden Blue. This is like a dream scenario. If this was to happen, they'll be so good, it would be ridiculous.
Well, what you saying, you and the thing about it is you're gonna be good for the next 4 or 5 years, four, five,
Yeah,
6, 7 years.
yeah. You got like you got these are all these players. Literally, to Jaden Blue can be starters in the NFL. All of them. Matthew Golden,
Jaden
Travion Henry.
Blue is gonna be like your third down package is gonna be just like ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah. You got if you got your third down package and you running out there with Dylan Sampson, Isaiah Bond, and Jaden Blue. Yeah,
And then Travion Henderson is probably your starter.
that's
You got you
that's
got you got Alfred Collins, who's gonna be like he's probably your starting defensive tackle by week 10.
and you got Isaiah Bond and Jaden Blue. Either one of them can play slot, and either one of them can come out the backfield.
And no slight to Mozzie, you gotta realize too, we need another guy with Mozzie. Mozzie can't just be the guy.
Yeah, no, I'm not down on Miles, even though he
Yeah.
had the
If
worst
Mozzie, yeah, if he
year
gotta
ever.
come in and just if he not getting wore down out there, Mozzie will probably be a good player.
I
But
agree.
yeah, this right here, I think my biggest fear is that first scenario that we saw. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But if it
yeah.
does, all we gotta do is just take and just load up on running back in the 5th and 6th round.
hmm Well, you had to trade for a receiver.
Well, you ain't got to trade for Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper. And by the way, they don't do good trades. So it's just so convenient. You just bring Keenan Allen in, you give him the same contract that Stephon Diggs got, and it's basically a 1 year deal. So you're gonna be paying Keenan Allen about $19 million for 1 year.
They ain't doing that.
And he's gonna absolutely ball.
They
Now
ain't want to
Amari,
do that
yeah,
for that. How much did homeboy get from the Rams? How much did he get?
the same type of deal that Diz got. It's backloaded. It's basically a 1 year deal for like 18, $19 million. That's what they're
They
getting.
they hung up the phone in his face when he put his price out there.
Yeah, man. But and then Amari Cooper, we still don't even know if he want to play. We don't know if Amari Cooper gonna be. I don't think myself that Amari Cooper has been in shape the last couple of years.
Probably not.
So is he gonna really want to come in here and put the work in and be in
Mhm.
shape and
He ain't gonna come in here like Keenan Allen would.
yeah? So that's the thing, unless you want to set the world on fire and trade for Tyreek Hill.
I would. I
The
wouldn't
stuff
give him
he
my
the
first
stuff he
round
the
pick.
stuff he got going on. I don't even know if I want him on my team, but that's just me.
I mean,
Kind
well,
of stuff he doing.
we don't want no choir boys, but
Well, I don't want no choir boys, but I don't want that.
well, Isaiah Bond is that, according to you
Yeah,
know.
I hadn't heard that about him, but yeah,
That's what he going
that's
through
what
right
he
now.
got in trouble for.
Yeah.
Now, somebody was telling me that his thing, it was like another side to the story that might put him in a better light. That's what I was hearing.
I told you that.
Yeah, so I mean,
I
but
told you as soon as it came out.
I would take Isaiah Bond. I would take Isaiah Bond versus Tyreek, who's got so much evidence of doing this thing that he's been accused of doing. This ain't well, it's so much smoke and fire with him. Isaiah Bond, we're gonna cut him a little slack.
Yeah, no, yeah, no,
So
yeah. No, Isaiah Bond for sure. He put on here, unlike the false narrative that has been amplified, the truth once revealed in its entirety will show that he was targeted by a woman 8 years his senior, relentlessly pursued, enticed by explicit photos and videos, and ultimately
that's
set up.
Bond.
Yeah, it ultimately set up for financial gain.
Yeah. And shout out to Ty Church. He said they like Bond. So Ty, my question would be, what round do you think Bond is going in, and do you think they would take him? So if Bond is there in the third,
What's up, Marcus?
what they pull the trigger, and
Yeah.
then we don't have a fourth.
Now,
We
cornerback, JV. I I like what's his name, brother. I like
Azariah
One,
Thomas.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wanye brother. Now I think Wanye brother Azrael. I think he going a little too high for our liking.
And
I
we
think
haven't seen a lot of mock drafts where he's making it. He's going to Dallas. Yeah.
yeah, nah, because he getting picked too high in the first and second round. We have to
Well,
get a running back and a
I
receiver.
would take him over the corner from Michigan every day and twice on Sunday. I would not draft. Is it Will
Will
Count?
Johnson,
I
yeah,
would not draft Will Johnson
yeah,
in the
nah, me
first
neither.
round. I would
No,
wait and draft Thomas.
me too. I would definitely wait and draft Azrael over Will Johnson that high.
Yeah.
Now Azrael is a dog and Wanye is a dog. They both dogs.
I'm hoping that they can figure this whole 1 year thing out this year and get him on the field and
You know
let
what my
him.
thought was about that? I was thinking that maybe Wanye should be playing where Jordan Lewis was playing because Wanye is good enough to play cornerback. I was wanting him to play in the slot or the nickel because
Yeah.
they run in a 4-3-5 or 4-2-5.
And see,
So
yeah.
so we were in a 4-2-5. You got 5 defensive backs.
1 year was good. We played the 49ers a couple of times. He was making plays underneath, but I think also Izzy is good for that role.
Yeah, Easy might not make the team.
Man, I think he's gonna make it. They need to if they just give Izzy and Wanye a fair shot, I think they gonna. Izzy is a player, Izzy.
Wanye should be a starter.
Yeah, but I like Izzy too. Whenever
Yeah,
he get a chance to play, he plays well.
cut Hooker. Yeah, I don't like Hooker vibe. Ever since
Nah,
I seen him with Micah at that on that show when they was eating pizza, it was
yeah.
just like he didn't fit the mold. And then,
I didn't
and
like the
then
comment he made about Micah either.
me neither. It's just like so he doesn't fit the mold. So yeah, I cut him. I want to keep Wilson.
I want to keep Wilson too. If I'm making a move at safety, it's Hooker.
It's Hooker and Wanye can replace him, and
Yeah.
Bell can replace him.
And then what I want to see with Donovan Wilson, just play to his strength. Just keep him down in the box. Just keep him
Yeah,
down and underneath and run. Just let him
and
do his.
Bell too. Keep Bell in the box because
I forgot
he
about Bell. Yeah,
when Bell is in the box, he be all in the backfield. So let's just
yeah.
keep him in the box because he's a head hunter. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna go just old school with this whole conversation as we close out. Here's the thing about the '90s Cowboys people that listen to the show. When you're talking about people like Izzy, Bell, Donovan Wilson, on those teams, what was real dynamic about those '90s Cowboy teams, they had guys like that, and they were not starters, but they played.
Mm.
In the nickel and dime, they had guys like that all over the field. They wasn't starters, but they would just come in and play a role. It was Kenny Gant. It was Bill Bates. It was those type of guys. They brought a guy in that last 95 Super Bowl they won. They brought a guy in named Scott Case. He was a white safety. He played for the Atlanta Falcons his whole career. He was a dog, but he ran like a 5'1" 40. They brought him in that 95 season. They just had him just playing a role. And that Super Bowl we played against the Steelers, he was just knocking people out. If you go back and watch that game, you got to really watch it to see him. He was number 25. But my whole point is, Dave Campo, Mike Zimmer, those coaches, they just figured out how to get all of these guys on the field. They figured it out. They didn't say, we got to have Hooker and that's it.
Mhm.
They didn't say, our starting safety, Donovan Wilson, Wanye, and Izzy, you sit over here. Everybody ate. That's what they did. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to the guys that we have that can play, find them a role and let them play.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree with that. You know what I mean? And then Wanye, I never forget Wanye caught an interception in his first game ever played
Yeah.
on the first snap that he ever played in the preseason.
Just think how far along Wanye would be if they had just let him just play. Not start, but just let him play.
Yeah, I don't understand why he was on special teams and he wasn't playing because when he be playing, he be making plays.
Izzy does too.
He do.
Donovan Wilson is a playmaker. You just got to play him the right way. He don't need to be downfield.
Yeah, that just lets you know how out of sync and out of touch they was.
Donovan
in
Wilson
Green
got
Bay
better
game.
as the season went on last year.
Yeah, because he
Once
came back
Zim
from
figured out,
injury.
once Zim figured out how to use him, Donovan Wilson, when our defense, that second part of the season, Donovan Wilson played well and Michael played well when he came back.
Oh yeah, they changed the whole dynamic of the team.
because Zim started figuring out how to use them, and I think we should have kept Zim. We got to get Lou on our show. What I want to talk to Lou about is this Eberflus thing. I want to get his breakdown on this Eberflus decision and what that defense is going to be looking like. Because
4-2-5. You got 4 down linemen, 2 edges on the
and
side.
what
And
he does, and my concern is what he does. He takes his defensive lineman and he
over
has
pursuing.
everybody rushing upfield.
Over pursuing.
And when you playing a Shanahan type offense, what they do is they trap your defenders. They let you run upfield and then they running behind you.
Yeah. And your
That's not a-
linebackers, you don't have, you got to have good linebackers. You got to
Oh,
have,
yeah.
well, first of all, you got to have monster in his setup in a 4-2-5. You got to have monster defensive tackles.
And you got to have linebackers that come up and hit because they're gonna be uncovered because
Gotta
your
fill those
defenders
gaps.
are running upfield.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
they
what
spread you
hurt
out.
LVE and Damone Clark.
Yeah.
We didn't have a defensive line that was protecting them, so they lining up. The running
They
back
getting
is
hit.
coming downhill at them.
Yeah, and also they getting hit by guards and tackles.
Yeah, because your defenders are not there. Your defensive line they running upfield. So let's
Like-
go ahead and close.
Like the Bengals game when Lyell played for the Bengals and Michael was just running past him and Lyell was acting like he didn't know what was going on. Like, nah, you were supposed to get him. You let him just go straight at your quarterback. So
Yeah.
But Donovan Wilson was a top 2 safety in 2022. One thing I didn't like about that was I didn't like how Donovan Wilson was like a borderline Pro Bowler, almost, playing like an all pro, and then the next year it's just like he fell off a cliff. Like they didn't know how to use him. The scheme changed.
Well, he fell off the first part of the season with Zim because Zim didn't know how to use him, but he figured it out by the second part of the
It's
season.
like, man, what's going on with the defensive? We got superstars like Micah that hasn't had 2 or 3 years in the same system yet.
Yeah. Well, Michael's in camp. That's important. What I hope Michael does is when they start doing stuff here in the next few weeks, if his contract is not signed, I hope Michael is still there, but he's not doing the drills.
Yeah,
still
and that's probably what will happen.
Yeah, just be there on the sideline, or
Taking a knee.
just in the huddle, just
Yeah.
doing everything you got to do. Don't do the stuff where you're out there on the field doing the field work.
Mm-mm.
And then get your deal signed.
You've earned the right to be up there coaching up the players. You can do that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
So I
And
hope that's what he does.
And on top of that, Michael made a comment yesterday. I seen it today to where Shannon Sharp was finna sign like $100 million contract, and Michael was just like, he added Shannon Sharp and was just like, get off YouTube, please. So
Yeah,
Michael gonna sign like a huge contract with Bleacher Report too, or ESPN too. You know what I'm saying? So his
Yeah.
money ain't gonna just be coming from the Cowboys. That's why I think it's just like, he gonna get the highest paid contract. Probably the highest guaranteed. You know what I mean? And it's probably gonna be up there, but Michael gonna make a lot of money outside of the Cowboys.
yeah. I think the deal is done. They just trying to work out the guarantee part.
Yeah.
And they need to do the right thing. Micah is coming to the Star doing his thing, so they need to go ahead and get it done. You ready to go ahead and wrap?
Yeah. All right. So yeah. We gonna man, we counting down, man. We gonna close out. We counting down to the draft. We got 4 days left.
Appreciate you, Marcus. Appreciate you joining the show.
Appreciate you, everybody that joined the show. JVB boy, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Marcus. Appreciate you, Uncle Squeak. He called us mock draft genius. Appreciate you, Ty. And y'all know we're gonna be live on the draft night. That's gonna be real important. We're gonna go live, and so y'all can see our reaction. And we hopefully it's a good night. You know what I'm saying? For the last couple of years, we kind of just been, going crazy after the first pick. We've been after the first pick for the last couple of years. We all been on the internet, all been on the YouTube trying to figure out everybody feeling the same, and everybody feeling the same. We're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So this year, hopefully, this is gonna be a make or break year for us. We're gonna be able to tell in a few days what type of team we gonna have. If they come out here and do this draft right, we can say, like I've been saying this whole offseason, okay, we need them dominoes to fall. Well, that's gonna be the last major domino to fall. So if that domino falls and they get the draft right, then hey man, it's on and popping. So we'll see y'all in a few days. We'll probably come on tomorrow is Sunday's Easter,
We
so
might
happy
come on
Easter.
Wednesday and do a pre-draft show
Pre-draft one
Wednesday
more,
night.
yeah, one more just to get everybody ready, and then on Thursday is gonna be the big show. So y'all make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. We appreciate all of our viewers, and y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell and hit the like button so we can get this algorithm going. So y'all
So we need 2 more subscribers to hit 150.
yeah, we need 2 more subscribers to hit 150. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe like tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know it's been a journey. We was trying to get 50, then we got 100. Now we trying to get 150. So it's just like, we just keep on growing the channel. And I like this background right here. This background is cold. So
So we got a little piece of our equipment that we're gonna be doing something that we think you guys are gonna find pretty interesting, that you guys are gonna like. So Jules, I tell you what, is gonna produce it, and it's pretty cool thing that we have that we're gonna be doing. That once you guys see it, we think you gonna like it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so y'all stay tuned for that. We just gonna throw it out there too. So it'll be done before the season starts. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, try to get us them other followers. Try to get us those other 2 followers so we can just tell somebody to follow us. And you know what
And
I'm saying?
happy Resurrection Sunday.
Yes. And everybody be safe tonight. And everybody make sure tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, you go to church. And you know. So we'll see y'all on the next one, and we'll see y'all, like I said, by Wednesday. We should pop on and get ready for the draft. So we'll see y'all on the next one. Holla.